Okay, so it says in this example, what is the standard form equation of the ellipse that has vertices at plus or minus 8, 0 and foci at plus or minus 5, 0? So you'll remember there are two forms, standard forms for the ellipse. There's the x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared, squared, equals 1. That was for the pancake shape. And then there was the x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1. And that was the egg shape or the elongated shape. Okay, so which one do we pick and how do we know? Okay, so think about a set of axes here. What do we know? We know where the vertices are. They're at 8, wherever 8 is, 8, 0, right? Plus and minus. So because of that, this should come in a little bit, but because of that, we know that this is the major axis. So that means it's going to be some kind of pancake shape going this way, okay? So we're going to want this form right there. We also know then the distance here, which is going to be A, and that is 8. So A is equal to 8. So you can pull that off from what we were talking about before. You might say, well, great, I know everything. I can just write that standard form. We don't know B, but they didn't tell us B. They didn't tell us the co-vertices, but they tell us C, the foci. So they're at, 5 here, okay? So this distance right here is C. C is 5. And there's one on the other side. I didn't draw both sides. I was trying to keep it a little bit clean, but, you have an A going, you have C going both directions for, there's another focus point there. And then there's also a distance of A here to the other vertex as well. Okay, but we don't know this distance and we don't know what the co-vertices are. We know it's B, but we don't know what B is. And we need to figure that out to be able to write the equation, right? In fact, we don't even have to know what B is. We have to know what B squared is. So now we need the relationship that C squared equals A squared minus B squared. Okay, so C is 5 and A is 8. And we're going to figure out B squared. Okay, so 25 equals 64 minus B squared. So if I subtract the 64, what's that? 39, negative 39. Divide both sides by negative 1, and what do we get? B squared equals 39. Now, you could say that B equals plus or minus the square root of 39, but we don't even care about that, because what we want to know for our formula, we want to know B squared, right? Okay. So we could write up here that A squared, if you think about this, A squared was 64, right? Okay, so we know it's this form. So let me just rewrite it. X squared over A squared plus Y squared over B squared equals 1. And we know A squared is 64. You could just square the 8 again if you wanted to. And we know B squared now, we just figured that out. Y squared over 39 equals 1. That's the standard form for this ellipse. And you're done.